women on some level of consciousness realize that their sex appeal, their sexual market value is perishable. And when they get to a certain point, like 29 years old, 30, 31 years old, that's when they have to cash out. And I did not have this, but I just picked this up off of Twitter. I had somebody, I think I put it on my Instagram. Some chick had said, when you get to be like 29 years old or 30 years old, it's like leaving the club, trying to find a guy who wants to leave the club at the same time as you. And I was like, are you reading my book? Are you reading The Rational Male? Because that's almost like verbatim what I've said in The Rational Male about that kind of stuff. So
I find it funny, man. It's hilarious. What can you do but laugh?
Yeah, well, exactly. And every now and then somebody will throw like a data set at me. They'll say, what is it? Hollywood actors, like male and female, and they will say the height of their, like, at what age do they sort of like peak when they're actors and actresses. For men, it looks almost identical to like they come up and then they have a slow descent when it comes to, say, like, right around their mid-20s or so into their 30s, and then they kind of gradually descend. For women, it spikes right at 23 or right in the mid-20s, and then it sharply drops off, and it almost mirrors the graph that my infamous sexual market value graph. And every once in a while, I'll get a little tidbit that backs that up, and I'm trying to collect those so people go, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Here, show me the sources. Yeah, here they are.
Talk to your friend circle. That's the part that blows my mind. For a lot of guys, they give me this whole I don't believe this thing. And then you just bring up a personal story from, hey, remember 2 years ago, this chick? Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And then you realize, like, they don't actually just, they hear the words, but they don't map it to life. And that's, once you get that connection, that's when people start to click. But a lot of guys just either don't want to or aren't capable of doing that, which is kind of sad, because that's how they get PJ'd, I guess. Is that a verb now? When you get PJ'd?
No, but you just made it one.
Nice. PJ'd by the Sun Hat Brigade.
PJ'd by the Sun Hat Brigade. Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at like Scarlett Johansson right now, and she's like, I think she's mid-30s, and she is, she's still a good-looking girl. I mean, she just did Black Widow and all that kind. I mean, it's sort of this last gasp.
She has an army of people there to make her look beautiful. She fucking better at that price.
Yeah, and that too. But even at 35 years old, I mean, you could still be in pretty good shape in your mid-30s, ladies. I'm not saying you can't. But, you are not going to be as hot. You're not going to be as in shape and as, let's just say, sexually marketable as when you were 25. So,
23-year-old Scarlett Johansson will crush in the movies compared to 35-year-old Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, she does look great. Yeah, she she does look great. I will give her that. Here's another one that's just in the news recently. Did you see the video of what was it? Megan Fox and what's that? Machine Gun Kelly.
Some young dude.
Yeah, he's 31, by the way. I thought he looks a lot younger than 31.
Dude, what happened to her face?
Yeah.
I get it. Like, people get older, but that's like, remember the Bill Burr sketch about too much plastic surgery? Like, you're some nebulous age between 34 and 35, like a lizard. That's all I could see with her now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she's going to be one of those 50-year-olds that looks like, with the giant jaw and like the cheeks
already had too
huge.
Much work. Yeah, she's 35 and had a lot of work. I'll give her that. And again, Megan Fox, I remember seeing her in the first Transformers movie, and I was like, God damn, wow. But now it's like, after a while, you hit 35, you get past that point. I'm not saying she's hit the wall or anything like that, but
she's well past the wall.
Yeah, she is technically she's well past the wall, because let's just look at it this way: she's got 3 kids. And she's 35 years old. She's with this guy who's like 4 years younger than she is. Nobody says jack shit about that, by the way. Like, is that age appropriate dating? Doesn't matter. She should get
I've yet to see a girl complain about age appropriate dating who's under the age of like 29. You notice that?
Yep.
I don't think they really give a shit. I just think if I say these words, the guys my age will stop dating these young harlots.
Because they have to.
Do they call them harlots anymore?
Chippies.
Or is that like
these young chippies? I think that's an Eric Clary term. No, so like I think, yeah, you're right. You don't hear women talking about like, I can't find the right guy, I can't find a nice guy when they're 23. You'll hear them say exactly that when they're 33, or you'll hear them talk about age-appropriate dating when they're in their late 30s. Well, I can't find the right guy because all these men are they're infantile and their egos, and they just want young girls and whatever. I guess that's
all of them, every single one. Not a single guy had potential, apparently.
Or I can remember. Do you remember when Keanu Reeves showed up with his new girlfriend, who was? She looks like his mom. I mean, she seriously looks like she's pushing.
Yeah, her hair was grayer than yours.
He's early 60s. She's younger than he is, but only by I think she's 46 and he's like my age. Like he's like 52, 53, something.
Yeah, that was right around the time that the Top Gun photo came out with like Tom Cruise and what's her face.
Mm-hmm.
He looks great at 56, and she looks like the grandmother at the library.
Oh man, okay, so this is sort of heavy metal nerd time right now. There's a great cover for the second album by Rat. It's called what was it called? Invasion of Your Privacy. And the reason why that was a great cover back then is because I don't know if this was the first one to feature a Playboy Playmate, but this was a Playboy Playmate that I think Stephen Pearcy, the guy who was the lead singer for Rat, was dating at the time, or was seeing. He really liked her anyways. Mm-hmm. And she was Playmate of the Year for like 1984, 1985, or whenever that album came out. Complete smoke show. Do not go look her up now. Just go with the vision from 1984, 1985. And again, it's like that's the one of the things I think about the internet right now is and I've done shows about this as well, is like women can't get away from that digital footprint. It's always going to be there. Even if you were born, like she's clearly Gen X. I mean, she's probably in her 50s right now. Not the same girl that she was when she was, 22, 23, when she was a centerfold. But even
I'm going to guess she didn't choose to age gracefully.
She's thick. Let's just say that's as nice as I can put it. Right. Hey, people get old, people get fat, whatever. That's what happened to her. But I think there's this sort of mental imagery that we have, particularly from different, eras decades, certainly, that we romanticize. And we want to say, oh, yeah, your heroes still look as young as they did back in 1986 when they were playing, the Moscow Music Peace Festival or something like that. No, they don't. They don't look like that anymore. But I made a joke about this a long time ago on Royce's blog, and I said, you know what? Say what you want to about Facebook, but it has been the great equalizer. It started at social media in general. Maybe not Mark Zuckerberg personally, but social media in general has been a great equalizer, I think, in the sexual marketplace, because now, like I said, you can look at Brittany Renner just from 3 years ago, talking about I'm going to date an athlete. They're dumb as hell. And then you can go and you fast forward it to 2021, because the second one I played was just recent. And you can look at the difference. Look at what's happened, in her life, and she's still the same nutcase that she is, but now she has gone from being I guess in her mid 20s to being 29, where she's at right now, with a baby, single mother by design, let's just say. And so we can see this kind of stuff and how it progresses. Now people say, well, maybe she's just an apex example of that, but I don't think so. I think you can do that with a lot of girls who are now a lot more open about this kind of stuff. And it goes back to what you and I've talked about, and I put this in a couple of my books, is the concept of open hypergamy. And
definitely open.
This will definitely go to your video here. Women are far more open about their sexual strategy now, because they have to be. They're caught. They can't. It's unignorable. Not from the red pill, not from the manosphere, whatever you want to call it these days. It is unignorable because women themselves make it unignorable.
Might as well lean into it.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the consequences? That's the one thing I love about my video. She's doxing this dude, making him look like a complete simp. Granted, he gave her all the ammunition she needed. Mm-hmm. She's nakedly saying, I'm doing this because I just got a job at a radio station. And everybody's trying to appeal to her humanity. Hey, don't dox this guy. He's a nice guy. And she's like, screw you guys. I'm like, there is nothing you can say or do that's going to make her stop using this guy, stepping on him when he's down, using him for clout. Mm-hmm. That's just the way it is. It's like you said, what's your thing on birth control? It's that sex using a condom. That's your one decision gate on whether you want a baby or not. So yeah, this is basically condoms, but for your social media profile. If you don't want to be put on blast, follow Royce's Jumbotron rule. If you don't want to have your voicemail messages and your tweets put up on a Jumbotron for everybody to see without cringing, then probably best if you didn't say it. And yeah, when you see the example, you'll see exactly why.
Yeah.
And yeah, we could sit here and argue about why she's bad and the reason she's bad, but just that's the takeaway. If you're red-pilled, hey, don't do this stuff. And I know you like Fresh and you like Fit and those guys and they do those things, but dude, in the era of Me Too, sending out a DM saying, hey, you gonna sleep with me to get on my podcast? I'll pay you an exposure. I'm like, dude,
that's gold. That's gold to a woman who knows that kind of stuff.
I know.
Those guys.
I've read the Rational Mail. I'm pretty sure you said in there specifically, don't do that.